How Rudolph got his red nose. Once upon a time, many, many years ago, near the beginning of time, the elves and I were getting ready for our Christmas Eve delivery of presents to children all over the world. The sleigh had been brought out and had been carefully inspected by the chief mechanic elf, Kafar Zaiton. But everyone called him Spanner, as he was the best mechanic to be found anywhere in the galaxy. The runners had been polished until you could see your face in them, and the harnesses gleamed a shiny black and red. The reindeer were fit and ready to go thanks to the efforts of Vandereth, the chief reindeer herder. Did you know that all the elves who look after the reindeer are lady elves? They seem to understand the ways of the reindeer far better than the men elves. All the reindeer had been lined up, and Vandereth had whispered gentle words to each of them in turn. She spoke to Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Donner and Blitzen, Comet, Cupid and Vixen. They were all very excited and ready for the long night ahead. I had been talking to Vandereth earlier, and we had been discussing the ever-increasing load that the reindeer have to pull each year as the number of children expecting presents got more and more. We decided to add one more reindeer to the team. Vandereth suggested a young reindeer new to the herd called Rudolph. I thought perhaps he was too young and a bit small to be helping pull such a heavy sleigh, but Vandereth insisted that he was really keen and ready for his big challenge. Vandereth was the expert, so I gave in and agreed that Rudolph should be the extra reindeer helping to pull the sleigh. At last it was Christmas Eve. The sleigh stood gleaming in the snowy night, laden with presents. The reindeer were ready to go. The elves who had worked so hard all year making the presents for the girls and boys were excitedly bouncing around, waiting to wave the sleigh and my team of helpers off. Did you not know? I can't manage to do everything myself. It's too much for old Father Christmas. I have elf friends to help. We need to know where we're going and who we're going to deliver presents to, and we don't use any silly old sat-nav things like mummies and daddies do. We use eyesies, earsies and nosies. I have 4 elf friends who help me every Christmas Eve, and I couldn't do without them. They are Elder Pildur, but we call him Goggle Eyes because he can see forever, and he lets us know if there are any things in the way and when we are getting near houses and other sticky up things that we might bump into. Achard Pendul, known as Big Ears. He listens for all the noises of the night and can hear if the children are asleep in bed. If not, we call back later. Sekor Sir, or Sniffy. He can smell danger for miles and miles around, and he is really good at sniffing out mince pies, biscuits, chocolate, cookies and milk, and he can even sniff out the carrots left for the reindeer. Then there is the beautiful Elun Aldarin, or Stargazer. She looks into the night sky at all the stars burning brightly up there and can tell exactly where we are and how long we have left to deliver all the presents before dawn breaks and it is time to go home for another year. Well, we all climbed into the sleigh and off we went up into the night sky with the reindeer bucking and prancing excitedly as we made our way to our first delivery. We hadn't travelled far when it started to get a bit misty. Nothing to worry about. There's often a bit of mist around in these cold, frosty winter nights, but this was different. The further we flew, the thicker it grew until we could see nothing at all. We had to stop. There we were, in the middle of a thick, blanketing fog. Goggle Eyes could only see the dense swirling fog. His eyes were useless. Big Ears could hear nothing. It was like being surrounded by a big ball of cotton wool. All Sniffy could smell was the thick fog. His nose wouldn't work, and there were no stars for Stargazer to see. We were lost. What were we to do? Children would be waking up on Christmas morning, and there would be no presents under the trees or around the beds. We sat in the sleigh in the middle of that huge night sky, and we were lost. We talked and worried, but we didn't know what to do. We couldn't let the children down, but we couldn't go on, and we couldn't go back. Suddenly, Goggle Eyes said, "What's that ahead of us?" "Where?" we asked. We could see nothing. "There at the front of the reindeer," cried Goggle Eyes. Slowly, something began to glow red. Softly at first, and then it got brighter and brighter. It was Rudolph's nose. As his nose glowed a brighter and brighter red, the fog began to part, as if it was being burnt off. The fog slowly cleared, and by the light of Rudolph's nose we were able to deliver all the presents. They were a lot of very happy children wakening up on Christmas morning. The news of our adventure and Rudolph's shiny nose reached home before us. All the elves were really excited, and they all wanted to know just how Rudolph's nose started to shine, but no one could tell them. It just seemed to be magic. When we got home, Rudolph's nose went out. It was back to normal. Vanderith settled the reindeer into their stables and gave them a good feed. The rest of us sat down to our traditional Christmas morning huge breakfast, and then we went to bed for a good long sleep. No one knows why Rudolph's nose began to glow red on that Christmas Eve, but on every Christmas Eve since, just as the reindeer are being harnessed up for their long night ahead, a little reindeer nose starts to glow red and gets brighter and brighter. It's Rudolph, ready to show us the way for another year and help make sure that boys and girls all over the world waking up happy on Christmas morning. Now, the name of this story is How Rudolph Got His Red Nose. But I can't tell you. No one can. It just happened. Perhaps it really was magic.